Who might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kaynah Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up. You know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, alpha male G-O-D, one half of Relations. You want to hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to a brand new episode of Relations. My name is Kaynah Lassiter.
It's your boy, 51 Spade, alpha male G-O-D, the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
Two exciting topics tonight. The first one is, could you stay with a partner who made a baby out of cheating? And the second topic is, how soon is too soon when you start dating? I figured that it's going to be a super fun topic to take us to the end of the show. So let's talk about if you could stay committed to a partner who made a baby out of cheating. We actually got so much traction online when we posted this question in the Relations Facebook group. If you are not a part of the Relations Facebook group, you are missing a great time. We actually discuss a lot of topics there and find out if they're popular topics or not before we actually bring them to the show. And this actual topic just got so many people's attention and they had so much to say. So I want to hear what you have to say about it first before I actually pick some of the comments that were on the actual page.
Well, I'm quite sure it's different from a male perspective and female perspective. So I would only be able to speak from the male perspective. And for me, there's no way on hell I'm staying with a woman who get pregnant for somebody else. Even posts that I've seen, there were things like, well, you're not a real man if you don't stay with your wife or girlfriend, if you don't want to raise a child. Shit, I'm all man and I'm telling you I ain't staying. That's just too much. I understand the idea that the child doesn't have anything to do with it, but I don't want to see the child for the rest of my life with somebody else's face. I also don't want to see you pregnant for 9 months due to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So we can just cut our ties just early. I'm not saying that a man can't do it. There are some men that can do it. And when you're in relationships, you do things that you typically don't do. Some people accept certain things, certain mistakes, cheating, the whole nine. And even me, I've accepted cheating, but not with a baby. That's an habitual line cross, just to me, because now you asking me to deal with a lot, and then there's other situations that could come up. Like if you're pregnant for somebody else, where is the other man? Did he die in a car crash? Or I have to know like the full fledged. So let's just say, for instance, like if he's still around, it's just too much. That's gonna go on. Now I'm dealing with another individual, and then now this is your baby daddy, mm-hmm. and I got to deal with all this other type of shit. I just rather cut my losses.
Okay, so I'm gonna clarify something really, really quick because I delivered the topic wrong, but we're still good based on what you said. The question really is not about staying with the partner. The question really is, can you accept the child? Could you accept a child that was created out of cheating during a relationship? And I thought this was really interesting. And the reason why I say what you said is still relevant, because when we go through the topics, that's what comes up first. Well, first of all, yes, I'm going to accept the child, but I'm not going to accept the man. And then I'm like, well, one doesn't come without the other. If you're going to accept the child, then that means the man had to stay there for you to accept the child. Otherwise, the question isn't relevant. Mm. So it can dance between the two, the actual person that you're deciding to stay with and your relationship with the child. From the first comment, I felt like this was a sensitive topic because there are lots of children out there that are out of situations that are not perfect. And I think what I heard clearly was it's not the child's fault. Mm-hmm. quick, like fast and in a hurry. That's really the first bit of energy I felt coming from the comments is, it's not the kid's fault. Why are we blaming the kid? Why wouldn't you accept the child? And this is my answer to that. And I know it's a very thin line. It's not the child's fault. It isn't. But if there's any disdain in someone that's going to be around your child, whether it's a stepmother or a stepfather, you have to be very concerned at how they treat your child out of basic human nature. I'm not a nasty person. I can't see myself being abusive to a kid ever in life. But if one day I'm having an argument with that child's father and we happen to argue about how that little girl or little boy was created and they knock on the door asking for a grilled cheese, I might tell him to get the fuck on. Not in those words, but you'll get the grilled cheese later or whatever. I'm just saying that I'm not a bad person and I might snap at the child and it's still no fault of the child. But I'm an imperfect person. There isn't a perfect person on the planet that can say they handle jealousy perfectly, they handle envy perfectly, that they handle anger perfectly. Everybody has a reaction or an emotion behind something hurtful like that. And unfortunately, I think the kids catch the brunt of that a lot of the times. I just think it's not talked about because people would be like, how could you? Why would you do that? It's one of those things that if I snapped at a child, I probably wouldn't be talking to my friend telling her, hey, I snapped at little Jimmy today. I would probably covet that and hope Jimmy don't run back and tell his daddy. And it'll just be something that we push under the bridge. Because I've had a lot of moments with my stepfathers, men that my mom married that were my stepfathers. We've had a lot of moments that my mom don't know about that were just uncomfortable for me and that person because they said or did some shit to me or vice versa that we just don't want my mama to know about. And I feel like a lot of moments are created like that between children and step parents out of this particular situation when kids are born out of an infraction like cheating.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with what you're saying. And the thing about it is, that's why I was saying, like, people make these decisions a lot of time when someone cheat. And sometimes it's not even really that, sometimes it can be in a scenario like yours. Like, it's your mama and it's her boyfriend and he has a son. A lot of times women can have children and their man is not really receptive to their child. And a lot of times that's hard because you also have to remember that you're dealing with a lot of shit. You're dealing with not only the simple fact that it's a matter sometimes where you get them. And what I mean where you get them is like where you receive them. Like if you give birth to the child and the child knows me since a toddler, that's one thing. But sometimes if you bring them in and they kind of, they're like 8, 7, 10, somewhere around there, that's a little bit difficult because now there's a power struggle in the house. And just as a child myself, I used to play tug of war against my mom and my dad, and they both have my blood. Now imagine that from someone that's not. Now you're looking for, if they're the child, whether they male or female, they're looking for sympathy from the mother. The mother wants to give sympathy because that's their child. But now you're with a man that most men put discipline, and I'm gonna go from the standpoint now of a guy. You putting discipline in a child's life, and different people parent different ways. Mothers are very nurturing, and I don't really want to say the word weak, but they use with men. I'm gonna say with young men, they need some rough edges, and moms often use a nurturing a technique or approach. They don't see certain things wrong. Like if you see, and I'm gonna go younger. If the mama see a little boy and he's trying on girls' clothing or some shit like that, some women be like, oh, that's so cute, and this and that. And I'm like, are you out your fucking mind? I would snatch his ass up out them clothes so quick. Heels, whatever he got on. Boy, don't ever let me see you in no shit like that. But that's me as a man.
As a man
That's me
responding.
in a man nature.
Yeah.
If you go a little bit older, sometimes we give them structure, chores, stuff like that. Things that they don't really want to do. That's not that difficult. And from the mama standpoint, some women look at them as like they're equal, and they're not. It's your child. He don't pay no goddamn bills in the house. If he had one thing to do or two things to do, like clean the bathroom, clean his room, cut the yard, I don't see why I'm receiving snapback on why this need to be done. You ain't paying no goddamn bills in here. You a child. Your job is to go to school and learn and keep your room clean or whatever things that I tell you to do. But when it's not your child, it's received a little bit different.
Yeah,
you know.
That is true. And that's one of the things that I think that had we 48 hours, usually these posts go by really fast and people are on to the next one. Had we stayed on it 48 hours, I know it would have moved into the issue of having to raise a kid that isn't yours and having to have that fine line between now two women and the father that is in the middle. Of course, I'm always going to take it from the woman's approach, because I automatically switch from the man's approach to the woman's approach. But that could be a very, very difficult situation in itself, and we didn't get that far as the comments are concerned. I'm going to read a couple of them to tell you where the conversation actually went. The first one says, yes, it's the man I'm not accepting. The child has nothing to do with it, the situation. They're innocent. I don't like the fact that children are the ones who suffer. And obviously that's the one I was saying that I really felt like there was energy behind, hey, let's not blame the kids here.
But you know what? Subconsciously, a lot of times, it's easy to say that the child didn't do anything. But even like from family members that I've seen where they had like stepdads come in, this and that, you notice a difference between how someone treats their child versus and someone else's child. That person probably can't see it because they're in the frame.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of times I've seen women be like, well, you don't do this with my son, but you do this with your son. And I don't think it's subconscious. I'm not saying that they're wrong. Some of that might be a real deal factor.
Right.
But I don't think it's subconscious. So to say that the child shouldn't have to suffer, I understand that. But now you're talking about having to make a conscious decision about that every day. I already know this child isn't mine. It's not like I'm gonna go around the house and be like, well, the child isn't mine. So
reminding yourself every day.
But if something happened, you know, I'm gonna react. Yeah, I'm just gonna react.
Right. Okay, so here's another one. Man, I don't want nothing to do with the kid. I don't think that makes me a bad person. I'd be a bad person if I was ugly to the kid. People get things confused. It's like, you know, I think you say this all the time. People are so caught up in what they think the right thing is to do, or caught up in the way religion tells you to respond. But her actually keeping it real keeps the child out of an unhealthy environment. Her just saying, you know what, I'm not accepting no outside kid. And you know what, she wasn't even shy to saying the nigga could go too. She clearly is saying, I don't want nothing to do with the kids. And so that would mean to me that even if she did decide to stay with the guy who cheated on her, she's putting her foot down and saying, you know what, I don't even want that. I don't want to meet the kid. I could give a fuck about the kid. And as harsh as it sounds, I'm with her. And this is why I'm with her. I, as a nurturer, and I, as a person who doesn't believe there is a man without a mistake, my first instinct when I read this was, there's nothing that's going to make me divorce. If I married a person, it doesn't matter what the fuck they do. Till death do us fucking part, for better or worse. To me, those are real values. People are not old-fashioned like I am. I'm very traditional. I just believe if I took the step to marry you, then I'm going to take all the steps to honor my vows. Now, if it just get to the point where I'm walking around with black eyes, then obviously. But if you make a mistake, then that does not constitute a divorce. However, when you bring a child into a situation like this, and you have a woman who is saying, hey, I'm so loyal, I want to be the best wife I can be, for better or for worse, I need to accept this child. You now have signed up for 18 years of work. You signed up for more tears. You've signed up for more worry, which leads to gray hair. And scientifically, me being a diabetic and really doing a lot of reading about stress and a lot of reading about being hurt, crying, a lot of that affects your health to the 10th power, worse than smoking a cigarette. That's how bad stress is. If as a diabetic, if I'm in a high stress situation, if I'm upset, if I'm in an argument, my blood sugar goes up, and that does damage to all of my other organs. So imagine me being in a situation for 18 years, first of all, having to look at the product of infidelity, having to look at that every single day, having to work extra now to send this person to college, having to take the kid to the emergency room and sit there for 8 hours. This is love that I'm showing by being loyal, but it's also killing me because it's stressful, and it's stress that I didn't sign up for. It's different when you're stressed out about your own child and your own choice. It's different when you're stressed out over someone else's choice. And I have a thing about me that I don't feel like I deserve to suffer someone else's consequences. If you made a choice and then there's a consequence behind it, why do I have to suffer for it? Why? It's just like having a child that gets pregnant at 16. Yes, you're her mother, but you have a decision to make. Even if the child's 18, 20, if they living in your house and they get pregnant, you are making a conscious decision. Yes, you want to show love and loyalty. Of course, you can always come home, but you just signed up for more stress. You can act happy all you want to, but when the baby is crying, you just don't feel your body reacting to the stress. What you feel is later on when you're 60 and the doctor is telling you that you got this and you got this and you got that. It was from all that crying that you didn't sign up for. It was from the worry and the stress that you didn't choose, that you didn't even know that was affecting your health. So I would have to think of myself first in a lot of these situations, no matter how loyal I want to be. Is it good for me mentally? Is it good for me emotionally? Is it good for my health? And I really don't think it is, if you really feel like I feel about the choice of having that baby.
So since you don't believe in divorce, you leaving?
I am on the fence. I'm torn. Because let me tell you why I'm torn.
You did all that ranting.
I did. But let me tell you what else.
I'm on the fence.
But let me tell you what else is stressful, because that's going to lead in some of the other comments. I would just leave. But leaving isn't that easy either. Who's to say that leaving don't cause you stress? Now I got to file for divorce. Stress. I got to find a new place to stay. Stress. My heart is broken. Stress. There's no choice that's less painful than the other, and both are going to hurt. So it's not, I think I'll end like this before I give it to you. It's not an easy decision to make.
I didn't ask you it's easy. Are you staying is what I asked.
The question is actually, can you accept the child? So I think I'll sneak off by saying I don't think I would accept the child. My marriage has nothing to do with the mistake that he made.
Oh, okay. That motherfucker ain't staying. She ain't staying, and the baby not staying. There is no further for me. There ain't no accepting for me.
So it's different. You're not staying with your partner.
I mean, I feel you, but because when you say, hey, a breakup is stress, it's short.
So you'll get over it.
Yeah, you'll get over that. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'd rather that short-term stress than that 18-year-old stress.
Hey.
and trust me, I'd rather show up to the doctor like, damn, you had a good bill of health, you know what I'm saying? Than going through that.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, and I understand that, and like I said, from that perspective, I feel like a lot of people are kind of speaking from the perspective which almost sounds like a woman that is saying the man made the mistake, and are you going to accept that? Are you going to accept his child? But like I said, I'm speaking from the perspective of if it was a woman that cheated and she got pregnant, and all those things that you talking about, that you bringing up and shit like that, I'm not sitting through 9 months of that shit.
And I think it's taboo to even think of a woman cheating on her husband and getting pregnant and going back home with him, and he's now got to make that decision. You just don't hear of that all the time. Somebody ought to write a script. We should see it on a film.
Those have been in films.
Has it?
Yeah, those have been in films, and that's why I'm trying to tell you right now, because times that I've seen it on TV shows and stuff like that, I don't necessarily say that I want to watch that thing happened. Like, I've seen that. It's a show called A Million Little Things, where a situation like that happened. The lady got pregnant from the friend. Just so happened the husband died, but she still had the fucking child from the friend. The friend is alive. Now, everything is going fine and dandy to her daughter. Her older daughter found out. That shit just went out of control because she's looking at her mom. How could you cheat on dad with his best friend and you had a child? It's not, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not like ABC simple,
right?
Where in his case, the dad had passed away, and from how they painted it, he kind of knew that they were cheating anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it don't happen. And even when I looked at the whole scenario, but then even his friend was married, and now his wife got to deal with the simple fact of, and now we're talking about what you was talking about. She was looking at the child, saying, "Damn, like, I don't want to leave my husband." She was in the same scenario you talking about. I don't want to leave my husband, and now I'm looking at the child, and she was wondering, could I accept him? She didn't want to touch him. She didn't want to be around him. She didn't want to be in the same room. And just so happened, it was like, hey, an emergency came up. Can you watch him? And she's looking like, I don't want to, but...
Right. That also happened on the movie with Denzel Washington and Viola Davis, where he was having a long-term affair with a side chick, and I feel like Viola Davis knew he was having an affair.
No,
so she didn't know about this other one.
She didn't know. He told her.
Okay, so he admitted to it.
Yeah, and then she died, and then she died in childbirth, and then that's how he got the child.
So he ended up having to bring this. It was real. This is what's so profound about it, is that if you watch the movie, this whole movie, this woman is holding her family up. She's holding her husband up. She's overworked, just like I said. She's tired. She's not getting the affection and the love that she needs already. He's a complete asshole. He's a complete jackass most of the time to her.
Well, he was drunk.
Right. He has some issues, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But it hit me real hard at the end when the lady that he was cheating with died, and that child is solely his responsibility, and he had to do the only thing he knew, which was to go home to his wife that fixes everything. And that just signifies so much. It's like, I fucked up again, now here, you fix it. You clean it up. Because he didn't walk in the house with that baby and take the baby back in the TV room with him. He handed that baby to her.
But you also have to remember that was a different...
I know it was a different time.
It was a different time.
But understand this. I understand that. But it is also representative of the shit that is passed down to us over and over and over again, because there are traits of that in our young women today who are out there letting their boyfriend flip their checks, staying at the projects, having their babies, being the workhorse that their mothers were and that their grandmothers were. We see women holding it down, and a lot of times men stay with their moms till they fucking 30. They see their mama hold it down, so they go out there and find another bitch, do the same thing as mom did. So it passes on. It's a cycle. And that, even though that was a small part of the movie, it was the very end, it said a lot. And it was very heavy to feel that, damn, she's not even loved. She's not kissed and hugged.
But that wasn't...
He's already tough on her, and now that...
But I didn't get that out of that because...
I did.
It was...
Of course you did.
It was... Because it was love, duh. You trying to paint it like it wasn't really that.
He didn't show it. It's different. He was not affectionate to her.
He did show it. The thing about it is, it's the way he showed it. A lot of time, a harder exterior, a lot of times for women is kind of hard to, because keep in mind, I ain't saying housework easy, but she was a homemaker. He worked. He and when he brought and when he brought the check home, he just handed it to her, and then she did whatever was going on. Now the extra, affections or things that you're talking about, I get it. It might not been in a woman's way. You get what I'm saying? And even when he had to explain that to her, that, hey, I cheated, and I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that this girl is pregnant from me, this and that. That was like I don't want to say like a 1 in a million thing that happened, but that's real rare that you be like, hey, I cheated, and the girl having a baby from me. Oh, by the way, she died while having that baby, and I'm the dad, so the child has to come with me. You know, like typically, I feel like if she hadn't have died, the child wouldn't have been with him.
Yeah, but she did, and these are the things that men don't think about.
I get that, and I understand that, and so that's why I'm from the standpoint of what I said. Like, if you cheat on me and you get pregnant for somebody else, you, that baby, and whoever you cheated with, y'all need to go that way.
That way. Before we go that way and actually switch topics, I just wanted to bring up something that I think is very important. And it stuck out because I said he wasn't affectionate towards her. He wasn't very loving. And again, it's been a long time since I seen the movie. I just remember him being kind of a jerk to his wife and his son. Mm-hmm. And then to have such a big, heavy thing to put on someone that he didn't show appreciation to really bothered me in a way that I feel like it's important to bring up this. There are a lot of men out there that are going to make this mistake because we wouldn't be talking about it and it wouldn't be hitting so many chords if it wasn't happening. Mm. So, because you already know you're imperfect, if you have a love, if you have someone who is 100% supportive, someone who's forgiving, someone who you can talk to, someone that you say that you love, I think it's so important on a daily, not when things are bad, but when things are good, to say, wow, things are really good. I love you. Damn. You know what? Thank you. I love coming home to a clean house. You know why? Because those are the things that we think of when the chips are falling down and shit is fucked up. And now we got to come through in the clutch. We think about those times when we feel really, really appreciated. It's different when something fucked up. Your car broke down and I had to drive 58 miles to get you, and you saying thank you all the way home. Well, yeah, you saying thank you all the way home because I drove out here to get you. It's today. So yeah, you're thankful for today because something bad happened. What about being thankful when everything feels really good? That to me is important to say because you're gonna fuck up. So when shit ain't fuck up, be thankful. Show how much you appreciate the person that you're with and how blessed you are to have them in your life. So that when you fuck up, they put on their Supergirl cape. That's what I can say on behalf of me and behalf of some of the women. We'll strap up. We'll put on the armor. We'll sling through the mud for you. But something has to fuel that. And it's affection. Our tank has to be full of affection, love, and appreciation in order to go when you need us to go. And you got to think of it like putting gas in a car. You have to think of it that way.
Cool.
You know what? It's just not right. Like, this is why we just need an applause button. Because when you don't give me my props, we can just push a button and people can be like, yay! You know what I'm saying? Like a bell or something, like to at least give me the pat on my back that I feel like I need for that.
Women ain't never happy, boy. You don't say nothing negative. You get something, you say something negative. If you just say cool, it's always something out of a woman. So we finna move on to the next segment.
How soon is too soon when you start dating? This was another one that got a whole bunch of traction. And the first comment I got was from a guy that said, hell no, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for first night action. So his mom and dad met, got it on, and he was born. And so he's saying that, and I guess they got married, they had a great relationship, and everything turned out fine. So he doesn't look at that. The ironic part was when he first said this, I thought he was talking about his wife. So I said, damn, you smashed your wife on the first night? He was like, no, I was talking about my parents. My wife didn't give it up the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, sixth time. Mm-hmm. And he said that's how she earned her stripes. So this is someone who said it doesn't matter, and it matters. Because if it doesn't matter, then why are you stating that your wife earned her stripes by waiting 6 nights? Or however nights it took?
You're probably a sailor. You know, not a Dixman. You know what I'm saying? Everybody have different views a lot of times. Like, you know, and ain't nothing wrong with being a sailor. It's like it just is what it is. I think it goes by individuals on, you know, really what you looking for when you out dating or, you know, having a good time. For me, you know, I am a Dick Smith. I'm first night action. You know, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that that's gonna make or break how I view you or anything like that. But I mean, I'm going for a first night, and typically I get it first night. But I don't judge the woman on, well, shit, she gave it up the first night. Damn, wonder how many people she do this to. Like, I'm not one of those guys. No, you can't say that you should. You can't say that you should because, well, I'll tell you a lot of reasons why. First and foremost, women are big fat liars. You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting the fat on it with a big capital F. Is because you ask a woman anything, like, y'all are programmed to tell men like what they like. Like, oh my God, you're so big. Oh my God, you're the best I ever had. Oh my God, I just don't do this on the first night. Oh my God, it's just something about you. Like, you gonna hear so many stories that I'm just like, y'all niggas really buying some of this shit that they saying. So I just prefer you just not to say anything, especially if you're not a virgin. Like, and that's why it boils down for that to me. Like, if you ain't coming at me on some shit, like if you was a virgin and you did it with me the first night, you have right to say some shit and for me to be like, why? But if you come in with a body count, I don't need to know all of this or why you feel that way. There's different things that happen for people in different moments. Sometimes women make certain guys wait the length of what he talking about. Hey, not to the sixth time. Some women meet people and feel like, damn, I feel like I've known him a lifetime, and they just give it up. You know, like, you don't know what reason a woman is gonna fuck on the first night, but I'll tell you from OG status of everything that I've known, a woman knows when they gonna fuck someone in the first 30 seconds. And that's period on every goddamn thing.
I get it. You know what?
Dick Smith action, nigga.
This has always been a thorn in my side. It's always been a thorn in my side. It's been a thorn in my side since I was very young. I've always had this notion in my mind that if I did it too quickly, then it would change how the person looked at me. And this is always because
why?
Well, when I first started dating, I started dating because traditionally this is what you do. You get a boyfriend and then you date for a long time and then you get married, you have babies. I mean, I had a father that was in the Marines. My mom married my dad while I was in her belly. So I came out into a very traditional situation, and believe it or not, I was raised pretty traditional. Her marriages weren't perfect, but she still had marriages. So I was in a house with a man and a woman, and I was taught that you just don't do that, that you hold out for as long as you can to see if there's any other interest in you besides your vagina.
So when did you go against the grain? Because you didn't get married and you lost your virginity. So being raised traditionally did not help. So I want to know what guy made you say, here, take this.
Well, I went through a couple of phases. When I first left home, I left from an engagement. High school love, was supposed to get married young. When I got to college, after that experience, I felt woke, so to speak. Just like, you know what? I'm young and he's young and no one's getting married right now. We're in school. So that's when I kind of gave myself a hall pass and was like, hey, relax. It's not that serious. It's okay to date around and not have to be in a relationship. But then I got woke again after that. After being in charge of my own body and saying it's okay to have casual sex, then I had the second awakening where it was like, okay, I don't want to do this forever. I don't want to be someone's booty call. in my 30s. So now when I'm on a date, it's not about, hey, can we bang? I want to have a conversation. I want to know how you live. I want to know what you do for a career. I want to know as much about you before I let you lay down with me. And on top of that, I don't like latex. I don't like condoms. And there's no way around a condom if you have first night sex. If you hold out, you might be able to do it the first time you want to. You might be able to do it the first time how you want to do it because you took the time to have a conversation. Go get tested together. I'm just saying, if you wait, it could be more of a benefit. You can just have more fun. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all, if y'all listen to this is the most craziest shit that I've ever heard. Please don't listen to this lady. This lady,
I'm not saying it happens like that, but I'm just how?
You just telling these people that if you wait, you might not have to use some latex. Like
you don't. If you hold out, if you waited 6 months,
my Lord have mercy.
If you waited 90 days, there's a lot you can do in 90 days.
Some people finna beat your ass up on this show right here, bro.
How?
Listen, man.
So if you don't date 60 days, you don't have to wear a condom.
First 60 days that I'm dating someone, I'm wearing a condom.
Even if you went and got tested with the person? Your first time can't be. That's what I'm saying. In 60 days, I'm just saying there's a lot you can do together. I'm not saying that I've practiced that. I ain't went and got a test with that nigga I had sex with the first time. I'm just saying I'm painting a hypothetical situation. You understand what I'm saying? If you wait and you're someone who says, you know what, I'm not having sex with somebody for 3 months.
Gotcha.
You could go have a test together and then you don't have to worry about it.
I'm gonna help you out.
I do not like you. I'm mad.
I'm gonna help you out. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you saved yourself when threw in the test. That was a good hook, line, sinker. Save yourself. I don't know who threw you that rope, but someone threw you that rope and then you got saved.
Yeah.
The other thing that you said is when you went to college and you got woke.
Yeah.
Okay, that's called a hoe phase.
Okay. That's fine.
That is not being woke. That's being promiscuous. That is not what that is. But whatever word you want to use.
That's fine. I don't mind that.
I'm with that. But I guess to get back on topic, I was asking you, what was it about the guy that made you, since you was traditionally raised, what was it about the first guy that made you say, no, not let me wait, not let me make him wait on marriage, but I'm gonna give him some pussy?
It wasn't him. If I'm telling you the truth, it was me. It was a conscious decision that I made that it just wasn't a big deal. You spend 7 years with somebody that you think you're going to marry and he cheats on you with a bitch across the street. That wakes you up. Like, the bitch lives across the street.
Yeah, but you don't know that's going to happen once you give him some pussy the first time.
No. I'm saying the person that I broke up with did that to me. So when you have a trauma like that, you're like, well, what was I doing? For 7 years, I'm in this relationship and the motherfucker cheated on me with a bitch across the street. So when I went off to college, I'm like, I'm not gonna let another nigga play me like that. Mm-hmm. You didn't even hide good. So it's kind of one of them things like, bitch, you have to wake up after something like that. You're forced to say, okay, you gonna let this shit happen again because you living in la la land? How are you gonna take control of the situation? So I thought I was taking control by saying, okay, I want to smash you. It wasn't the other way around. Like, what's up, mom? I'm trying to smash. It was not like that. It was like, him right there, bro. That's the one I want to fuck. I want to smash him. Mm-hmm. Go get your frat brother and tell him it's going down tonight. That's who I was in college. Mm-hmm. That's who I was. I just didn't stay like that for long because I figured I couldn't take that part of my life into the next phase of my life. I can't get a husband with that attitude. I don't think so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, you probably can, man. A lot of hoes are putting off a lot of shit nowadays that, you know, and that's why I'm saying, like, I really feel like it can matter, but it only matters to certain individuals. And, you know, because, like, as I'm listening to your story, I started thinking about a lot of shit that you were saying. And one of the major things that really hit home is, like, you was like, hey, I was raised traditional, this and that. And you saw your parents, and you was like, hey, my dad married my mom. But for you didn't wait. You said you made a conscious decision to move on and then go into, you know, whole territory and just start doing, like, not in a disrespectful way. I know. You know what I'm saying? But just started exploring different things, this and that. Right. But never said, you know, let me let me hold out. You need to put a ring on this finger, or people that just hold out for sex, this and that. And I often do get some of those questions, especially from women. I hear a lot of times they'd be like, well, I did this, or I made him wait 80 days, and particularly what you just said, hey, I was with this dude 7 years, and all we're doing is fucking, and I'm preparing myself to be a wife, and he cheated on me, and then I feel like that don't work. And then you'll see somebody else and be like, well, she fucked this dude, and this dude, and this dude, and then met this dude, and then she just got married. And my thing is, a lot of that sometimes don't matter to guys or certain individuals, because I'm not going to a lot of times dig into someone's past, like I said, if they're not a virgin coming to me. You know, like whatever choices and stuff that you made coming up, people have different transitions in life where they'll probably go through your period and then they'll wake up and be like, you know, I don't really want to do that. I kind of really want a husband. Now, you do have to deal with the consequences for that pillow talk when you got to reveal body counts. So I ain't saying that you good, you straight. I'm just saying you better know the guy you with, and do we care? You get what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of person that I would never prosecute somebody else when I wouldn't want to be done for me. I can't be like, hey, my body count high and your body count high, and I'm like, why is your body count high? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not really gonna make no sense to me. So when you asking me like, you know, does it matter? I'm gonna say no. Sometimes I feel something with a person. Sometimes there's a connection. Sometimes you just meet an individual. For me, I'm always going for it on first night. Majority of the time, I get it, but I just want women to know that it's not going to make or break your situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it really isn't. I mean, you look at hoes like Kim Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? She done had a slew of motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And still found the motherfucker to marry her. You know what I'm saying? You get Amber Rose. You know what I'm saying? She done had a slew of motherfuckers and still found the motherfucker to marry her. Everybody ain't Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just one of those things that where, like, I look at someone like Kanye and be like, damn, you know, that's a strong ass nigga for motherfuckers to be like, damn, you know, you got on reality TV sucking a dick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Lewinsky couldn't pull that off and she sucked the president dick. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people just have this thing, but he saw past that shit. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm saying, like, it don't matter. So I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm not saying that, you know, a man gotta go for it the first night. I'm saying my preference is to go for it the first night. But just because I hit you the first night do not mean that you can't be my wife.
That's interesting because, and it's good to hear. It's kind of comforting to hear because there are people out there that need to hear that. But I'm going to challenge you and some of the people in this room that might agree with you, because I know 2 people in here have daughters. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like either one of y'all would sit down and be like, you know what? It's all right to give up the coochie on the first
Well,
time.
That's not what I said. What I said was the person that I am. For me, I'm not finna judge a person. And that's why I also said that it's individually based. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of men right now that's gonna be like, no. Because you know why? Because the one thing that women don't understand, but men all know, especially that men that's being real with themselves, men got fucking egos, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of it. You can't be pillow talking with some men. That's why some women don't do it. You can't pillow talk with a man and telling him about your past lover and him be intact while he laying next to you and you saying this shit. You get what I'm saying? So that's why certain women don't reveal everything to their significant other. They ain't finna be in bed and be like, well, yeah, this one time Tyrone almost broke my back. I squirted everywhere. It's the hardest orgasm I ever had. And this is what you telling your man. Some men might be all right and be like, damn, you know, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Tell me about that experience. And some gonna be like, don't ever tell me that story. Matter of fact, if Tyrone is your Facebook friend, block him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just different strokes for different folks. So when you're saying you challenging me, I get that and I understand that. But the only thing we're talking about that people gonna be going is ego. I'm not saying, hey, it's all right to fuck on the first date. That is not what I'm saying. I said, me, I fuck on the first date. But I'm letting people know also that I'm not judging the woman who decides to give it to me. Period.
You know what?
See, there go that applause that you was looking for.
I would, you know what? And it's weird because if let's just say hypothetically, I met you and you were coming on to me as if you wanted to sleep with me on the first day. I would need you to make that clear, first of all, that it wouldn't affect the outcome of us being together or not. And I know that that's the lamest thing in the world. You would never say that. So I still feel like...
I'm glad you know.
Yeah, of course. I don't think any man would, and whoever would. It's like you just can't do that. You just would not do that.
But guess what?
But I think a woman is on the fence because, and it's the only reason why, that's what I'm saying. I'm not taking away from what you're saying. Connections could be made in 2 seconds. I saw a guy, and I knew this was the guy I was going to end up with in a couple of minutes because things like that happen. There's divinity and all kind of things that happen. But in that aspect, a woman is thinking to herself, damn, I really like him. And yes, I want to fuck him. And yes, I'm real wet right now. And I want to do it. But do I risk not having him later based on what I'm feeling in my drawers? And sometimes it's just, it's unless the person could tell you, hey, don't worry about that, it's just not going to happen. And I'm talking about me. I'm the one that would need a clear picture that it's okay. Because, yeah, I will admit that I've been turned on the first night. I've gone home with wet panties, the whole nine. It's just that I have a little bit of self-discipline because I'm thinking to myself, I like him that much to not risk it. I'm just saying that it's a risk. It's if you do it, you could be good, but sometimes you could do it and it not be good. So I always ask myself, is the person you're spending this time with that's in question, is he worth the wait? Because one wrong choice could just send him off. You know, you are taking a risk.
I get that, but it's almost like, and I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose, it's almost like you're contradicting yourself. On one end, you're saying, hey, you have all these red flags, I'm taking a risk, you don't really want to do that, I want the guy to reveal this and that. But there ain't no different from you saying that and also saying, hey, tell your frat brother he's the one I want to fuck tonight. What assurances does he have that y'all gonna continue to go forward for this and that? So the thing about sex is this is not a make or break situation. Sex does not put people in this situation where, whoa, once you fuck me, we should be boyfriend and girlfriend, or we should continue this relationship, or we should go on to the point where we should get married. That is not what's going on. So that's, if you see what I'm saying, I'm like, that's why hearing you say that, you're entitled to feel that. But at the same point in time, that's why I brought up that people be in different stages. So you didn't assure the person that you saying, hey, tell your frat brother that it's going down tonight. You ain't insure him shit. You just insuring him some pussy. Yeah. And at the same point in time, the man is not insuring anything either. Yeah. Just because I'm giving a woman some dick on the first night, I'm not saying I'm going to marry your ass or this and that. You know, you want to fuck, I want to fuck, let's fuck. And if shit decides to go further from that, that's cool. And typically for me, that's how it go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I could be with the individual, and at the same time, it could start off as sex, and then it can blossom into something else. And the weird shit is, I've been in scenarios, and this is how I definitely know that, and I'm not sure if women do this, but I could say I've been in scenarios is with guys that a lot of times is homeboys, when homies just first start fucking with a girl, to your homeboy, you be like, man, I met this chick, man, smash her, boy, that pussy was good. She might be sending like titty shots, pussy shots, this and that, and you show them to your homeboy, and then 3 years later, they item. I'm supposed to erase now in my brain that you just showed me your old lady titty and pussy and shit like that. It's a discussion that never comes up. But there was no way for him to know
that he would make her his girlfriend.
Bam. You dig something? Because in that moment, he was just like, damn, met this chick, met in the club, I smashed this and that. Look at her titty. She's showing me titty shots. But he doesn't know that this finna be his old lady. But
and that proves my point, though. What you're saying proves my point.
But 3 3 years down the line, that is his old lady. Yeah, but the topic was really is like the topic to me was really how fast is too fast, or like you said, is this gonna stop this person from viewing this person different? Mm-hmm. It didn't. But I will say this, that you often say, hey, when we first meet you, we don't give a fuck what books you read. We don't give a damn what your favorite food is. You said that plenty times on this show. Yeah. So I have to think, when I'm out there meeting men, they're on the hunt. They are on the hunt. They are on the hunt. They have one thing in mind. And the hunt is real. That's your vagina. So what I'm saying is, if you know that they're out there hunting, but you don't want the focus to be on your vagina, you want your focus to be on all the other stuff because you are a potential to him and he's a potential to you. That's cool. Then that might be a decision that you might not want to make based on you knowing that's what they're out there for. If you meet a guy, and I'm not being judgmental. But when you're out somewhere, when you're at a bar, you're there to have fun. So I have to understand you are not there to ask me, when's the last time I read a good book? You are there to ask me just the basic questions so we can move on to the next party. I get it. But it's also something that I'm aware of. I'm not completely out of my gore and just thinking, you know what I'm saying? This is the environment for me to make a first night choice. Unless you just made that decision going out that, hey, I want a one night stand tonight, so it don't matter. Well, I'm not. Yeah, but a lot of times, I'm not even speaking from this standpoint of a one night stand or should it be a one night stand. Again, like I said, I'm gonna try the first night. I'm not saying that it has to be successful. It has to be any of that. So regardless of whatever you're talking about, what I'm saying is like those details that you're talking about of a good book and TV shows that you read, they still gonna be secondary to me. Just to me. But the concern is if I give you the coochie first, those won't even become secondary because I've given you now what you were hunting for. It's just like if you're a lion and you spend all day looking at a gazelle and then you finally get to the gazelle, you eat it till you don't want anymore, and then you let the other lions come eat. And so to speak, that's kind of like what men are like. I hate to be like basic instinct toward basic instinct, but I feel like they're both the same. Mm. So if you've already eaten and you're already full, your interest is now going down. You're trying to stay awake, but you're nodding off. There are things now that have changed about your energy because you nut. I mean, that's true to a certain degree, but pussy is not going to stop any man from pursuing a woman in her life, in her details or whatever. See, the thing, even though you might have been laughing at the shit, it is levels to this shit. A sailor isn't going to always get pussy like that. And that's why if he was able to get pussy the first night, that's why he's going to pursue the woman more and more and more and more, because he might not be able to score again. He might not be able to score again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Sense. Now, when you running into a Dick Smith, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Because like we can get pussy at the drop of a dime. Some of it just fall out the sky. And it's just like, like when people be like, when I be having conversations, I'll be like, she was a lay down, motherfucker, lay down. And that's how you know like who you around and shit. You be like, okay, I'm on them presence of sailors. They don't know what a lay down is, So it's just one of those things that they just don't get. But I'm trying to tell you, like, even though there are people who give Kim Kardashian flack, it's still motherfuckers, regardless of a sex tape, regardless of all the men she fucked with, there's still motherfuckers that's gonna fuck her. You know what I'm saying? Like, much as her body start to come unraveled or just don't look like it's in place, it's like it's still motherfuckers that's just gonna do, because men are still men, and that's fine. But it's in it, and even if she was to divorce Kanye, because I feel like her mission is marriage, she still will find another motherfucker. She will, but understand this: I do not think for one moment she wished she could take back some of her choices. That's cool. Everybody does. I'm saying that she regret, but not for one moment do I think, damn, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that on my first night, or maybe it wasn't smart for me to let my boyfriend record us having sex. There's always time when you look back, and that's where when you're having she's having her conversation with Chicago and North, she's gonna say what I'm saying: hold out, wait off. So it's kind of like,
I get what you're saying. I get it. But when you have your own offspring,
I get it.
You still know what the better choice is.
I get it. But everybody knows what the correct choice is. And really, like I said, at the end of the day, everybody are making those decisions. You have no idea why you gave up your virginity. You get what I'm saying? But you do know that I want to go into a whole period. Like, even though you were seeing the correct thing, don't mean that you're going down that path. You can give any and every excuse that it is. I get it. But like I said, I don't feel that a lot of times people are going to be judged by it. And especially in 2020, the hoes are real.
Yes, they are. Speaking of hoes being real, we got to tap in. And this one is kind of juicy. How do you go about figuring out which guy gave you an STD after sleeping with 2 different ones in a span of 4 months? Dumb move on my part for real. But what should I do? And how do I let them know while trying to keep the peace?
Well, first of all, you should have waited 6 months like Kaynah, and then you could have definitely, you know what I'm saying, probably figured out that latex comes in handy. And this is what I was trying to tell you. like always put that motherfucker on so you ain't guessing. How can you figure out who gave it to you? Come on. Like, do I really have to answer this? There's no way you can figure out who. I mean, you can go to the doctor, get that cleared up, and then do what the doctor say. Anybody that you've been in contact with, you need to contact them. But narrowing it down, you can't narrow it down.
First of all, I would not encourage anybody to wait 6 months. 90 days is sufficient enough, and that's 3 months. So that's about half the time. And in 3 months, you can learn a lot about a person, including their status. This person who just found out about her status should definitely let her partners know what her status is. It's going to be hard. I don't think you're going to be able to keep the peace. Now, the peace between them, I would say it shouldn't even be a question. They shouldn't be arguing with each other. It's not their fault. It's your fault. So if there's any unrest, then that unrest should be with you, and you should do what Alpha Male said and strap up. My name is Kaynah Lassiter. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at Kaynah Lassiter.
Hey, it's your boy 51 Spade. You can reach me on both platforms, IG and Twitter. You're looking for the shirts, it's alphamalegodcreations.com. Happy Halloween, and like I always say about this time, peace.